guys, Braden from Adrenalin Rush Sports Australia. At Adrenalin Rush, we've created a kite fit program where we look at improving our abilities in the gym to then improve our abilities on the water. So without further ado, let's get into the next exercise. Hey guys, Braden from Adrenalin Rush Sports Australia. In this episode of the kite fit program, we're going to get into a little bit of kiting tech, and we're going to talk about the trim strap and what that does. So the trim strap, some people call it a trim strap, some people call it D-power strap, preset, whatever you want to call it. All the principles behind it are the same. So I've got a bar here, for example, today we're going to go over, but basically we're going to talk about this bad boy here, so trimming and de-powering your kite and what it actually does in regards to your kite and its ability to control it. So the main thing that I want to talk about is basically using this to make the kite fly better. So what it does is when we pull our bar in, I'm just going to go straight away and demo. When we pull our trim strap in, notice if I pull the bar in, I'll pull that trim strap in, bar comes up. But what it's actually doing in this regards, and when you imagine if you're having a kite on there, is it's shortening our front lines. So then you see here we've got a lot of slack in our rear lines here. And more slack in rear lines means it's a lot harder to steer that kite and control that kite. So if I let this trim strap out, notice now I've got a lot more tension in these lines, and you can see that the bar is sitting lower. So what this does is lengthens and shortens your front lines. Shortens it, if we set it all the way back out, lengthens it again. So what that actually does is, basically if we draw a little bit of a diagram here, so we're going to do a side-on view of the kite. So let's just keep it all pretty basic. I'm not a good drawer, but we'll run with this anyway. So this is the kite. Imagine and just on the side here, your front lines and your wingtip lines coming to the bar. Now what it does is if we pull our trim strap here, it's going to shorten this distance, okay? So these are our front lines. It's going to shorten that distance, and it's going to basically create more sag in our rear lines here. So instead of us being fully powered up and having all lines under tension when we bar all the way in, when we pull the bar in now, we have our rear lines are going to be a lot more sagged. So basically that means that we can't control that kite as quick. There's a couple of different reasons why you'd want to do this. One is quite powerful and you want to de-power it a little bit. You're adjusting towards the gusts and whatever happens through that session. Another reason why I like to do it and like to use it is when you're flying in light winds. Now you might want to think, well, why would you want to de-power in light winds? Try not to use it as a deep power, but as more of a trim strap. So let's imagine when we're flying the kite, we pull the bar in, it pitches the kite back. So let's just say like have a wing. When we pull the bar in this way, the kite comes back, pitches the back of the kite down, okay? Captures more wind. So more wind gets caught up here and creates power and creates lift. If we were to let the bar out, that wing then flattens out and we have more wind going through the canopy, okay? Does it make sense? So when we pull the bar in, back of the kite comes back, let the bar out, have more wind go through the canopy. Now, if you've flown light winds before, I'm sure you have if you're a kiter or you're just getting into the sport. If you go out in light winds and you pull your bar in whilst it's fully, the trim strap all the way out, you might find that sometimes it backstalls quite a bit. What a backstall is the kite will just go straight back into the window. What's happening here is basically when you pull the bar in too much, it actually acts like a brake instead of like a power or a throttle. And all this wind gets caught up in here and then basically forces the kite to come straight back down, creates a backstall. So what we do when we trim our kite for light winds, we allow as much wind as we can to go through that canopy as possible to keep the kite flying as nice and freely as possible. So that's basically the trim strap. Shortens your front lines, will determine how much tension you have on your rear lines. And you'll notice a big thing when you do trim your kite, the power might start halfway up the bar here when it's all the way up. As you de-power it, that's a pretty good example, didn't anticipate that. But you see my hand, that's where the power was, but that's how much you got now. If I let that out, if I can let that out, hand's still back up here, but you got more power. Just a little visual representation. Basically means you'll have less power to generate or less power to grab if you pull this in. That's a trim strap. I hope you learned something today. Don't see it as a power strap. Just changes your length of your front lines to alter your kite performance. Braden from Adrenalin Rush, thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you learned something today. Cheers.
Check out adrenalinrush.net.au for all the links.